Now I'm going to ask you something, but don't answer too quickly. Take the money out of your pocket and look at it. It might be paper, it might be metal, but the real question is this: how did this thing end up changing the entire world? Because money, contrary to what we think, didn't always exist. Humanity lived for thousands of years, built cities, fought wars. But money didn't exist. And this story is the story of where money first appeared, of the lands of today's Anatolia, and of a civilization whose name is now barely remembered, the Lydians. The Lydians lived in the 7th century BC in western Anatolia, around today's Manisa and Salihli. Their capital was Sardis. But what set them apart for other civilizations wasn't their armies, nor massive temples. What made them different was flowing quietly beneath their land: gold. Right next to Sardis flowed the Pactolus River, carrying sands mixed with gold and silver. The Lydians were aware of this. But here's the real issue. Finding gold wasn't enough. It had to be controlled. Trade existed back then, but it was difficult. Would you give a sack of wheat? How many sheep would that be worth? Would the other side even accept it? Everyone had a different calculation in mind. There was no trust, no standard. And right here, the idea that would change history was born. The Lydians mixed gold and silver and formed small pieces. They called this material electrum. But the real revolution wasn't that. They stamped these small metal pieces with the seal of the state. In other words, they were saying, this piece is under our guarantee. And that is exactly where money was born. Think about it. What you were holding was no longer just a piece of metal. It was the word of the state. It was trust. Everyone accepted it. Trade accelerated. Wealth increased. Tax systems emerged. And the world was never the same again. The Lydians grew wealthy. But there was one name in particular that would never be forgotten, even centuries later. Croesus. The phrase "as rich as Croesus" was not said without reason. But Croesus wasn't just wealthy. He was a king who understood the power of money. He strengthened his army with money. He adorned his cities with money, but wealth sometimes blinds people. From the east, a quiet but powerful danger was approaching: the Persians. At their head was Cyrus. The Lydians believed their wealth would protect them. They were wrong. The war didn't last long. But the result was devastating. Sardis fell. Lydia was finished. But the story didn't end there. Because the Lydians disappeared, but what they left behind remained: money. Every monetary system we use today is based on those small electrum pieces. Now look at the money in your pocket again. Maybe it's paper, maybe it's metal, but in reality it is the legacy of a step taken 2,600 years ago in Anatolia. And perhaps the real question is this: if those who invented money disappeared from history, why didn't money disappear with them?